strolled into Marion Hall, room 174, on the first day of COM 200. I did not fully realize what I would be learning. However, as I walk out room 174, 105 days later, I am fully confident that my mind has been exposed to the world of digital literacy. Digital literacy is the core of present-day and future communicators. There have never been more ways to communicate than there are today. Cynthia Self, who refers to digital literacy as technological literacy, defines it as a complex set of socially and culturally situated values, practices, and skills involved in operating linguistically within the context of electronic environments, including reading, writing, and communicating. In other words, it is cultural phenomena and a technological environment combined into one practice. Being digitally literate is crucial in today's society and will continue to be in the future. As we dive further and further into social media and other platforms to communicate, social media like Facebook and Twitter and other social platforms like blogging, photo sharing, and video streaming are such influential aspects of not only how today's society communicates, but also how majorly the digital world has impacted us. Take Twitter, for instance. Twitter has been around for less than a decade, and this one social network has already opened us to a whole new communication world. With Twitter, users are able to follow friends, colleagues, celebrities, public figures, news stations, and even companies or organizations. By following accounts, users stay up to date on what interests them and are able to comment on other users' tweets, which start the potential for a dialogue. David Silver discusses the difference between thin and thick tweets, highlighting that even though Twitter only allows 140 characters per tweet, users are able to tweet either one thought or idea, which Silver describes as a thin tweet, or multiple thoughts or ideas, using a hyperlink, also known as a thick tweet. In a 4-minute video, The Machine is Us/Using Us, Michael Wesch demonstrates how digital text, unlike unilinear text on paper, is movable and hyper. Digital text offers flexibility by inserting hyperlinks that open up into more in-depth information, incorporating pictures and videos, and being able to easily make multiple changes and adjustments when necessary. This is used throughout all digital literacy and can be seen especially in social platforms like blogs. Blogging gives an individual a stage where they can share their specific interests through text, pictures, and videos. Blogs have the ability to showcase your interests by having tags, where you can quickly find information you are interested in just from a keyword. Moreover, you have the capability to edit a post as many times as needed, even after it has been published. This makes for blogging to be an extremely efficient approach to outsource the information that you have so chosen. By writing or reading a blog, you are able to communicate with people all around the world who have the same interests as yourself, or even opposing interests, people who you wouldn't be able to communicate with if it wasn't for digital literacy. However, with this rapid growth in the literacy comes digital responsibility. With new ways of interacting with one another all over the world, it is imperative that these innovations be used in a positive way. In Monica Lewinsky's TED Talk, The Price of Shame, Lewinsky verbalizes how digital literacy and the ability to communicate immediately with others can majorly impact lives. She discusses how moments of people's personal lives are now broadcasted in front of the entire world, unlike before, when there were only three ways to obtain news: the newspaper, the radio, or television. This digital revolution has opened an entity so large that every moment, every word that is spoken is under examination. Every individual is now open to the risk of the worldwide stage, whether they have chosen to be or not. For instance, Lewinsky's scandal with former President Clinton was all over the internet and spread like wildfire, even without the help of social networking. Now, almost 2 decades later, this still continues to follow her and will for the rest of her life. Lewinsky stresses the importance of digital education, highlighting on learning on how to click with compassion. She states, "There's a difference between speaking out with intention and speaking out for attention. Therefore, we must take responsibility to further educate the youth of today and tomorrow. In confronting the challenges of participatory culture, media education for the 21st century, Henry Jenkins stresses, and I quote, "Educators must work together to ensure that all young Americans have access to the skills and experiences needed to become full participants, can articulate their understanding of how media shapes perceptions, and are socialized into the emerging ethical standards that should shape their practices as media maker and participants in online communities." End quote. In other words, the future of our society must have the resources to be educated on how to participate in the digital world, keeping in mind ethical standard and evolving socialization. As can be seen above, room 174 opened my eyes to the importance of digital literacy and both the options it brings forth. That being said, 105 days later was still not enough time to fully understand everything about digital literacy and what it all has to benefit us, both in the present day and future. It has changed the face of how we are able to connect with one another, and the ability to put these skills and abilities into practice has propelled us forward in a multitude of ways. Being digital literate is only going to further our capacity, making social and cultural impacts that are so important to understand and be a part of when communicating, whether it be in the present day or in the future.